Hey everybody, let's talk about some on-chain gaming stuff. Right now, one of the big things happening is Seraph. So what is Seraph? Why should you care? Can you play to earn? All the big questions. Let's dive right into it. So if you've been in on-chain gaming for a while, and yes, I'm trying to call it on-chain gaming instead of crypto gaming. Long story short, apparently they've done studies and on-chain gaming gets the best response from people, so I'm trying it. Whenever I say on-chain, it's the same thing as crypto. On-chain gaming equals crypto gaming. I'm trying it. Just mention that at the start of this video. If you've been in the space for a while, since the last bull run, you know everyone wants a grind and loot kind of game. Something, whether it's World of Warcraft or whether it's Diablo, Path of Exile, one of those two things, people are just really dying for anything where you can get in a group with a couple of your best friends and stay up all night fighting mobs, beating bosses, running dungeons, and ultimately collecting some rare NFTs that might be worth a fuck ton of money. I mean, it is what it is. And the space of on-chain games first really saw one of these pop off way back in the day, 2020, 2021 era, with Lost Relics, initially called Forgotten Artifacts, and then renamed to a different thing that is easier to say but means the exact same thing. Forgotten Artifacts to Lost Relics. Actually, kind of a funny name switch there. But we'll talk about Lost Relics and how it compares to Seraph in a minute. But basically, Seraph, the topic of this video, is a very impressive Diablo-like game, which, although it is not yet in its play-to-earn phase, they haven't activated it yet, it's going to have NFTs and I think its own token. It's definitely going to have NFTs, and you're going to be able to farm and earn NFTs in the game. And of course, people are excited about the idea of selling these NFTs. Just to give you an idea, don't mind the score on the top left. Let me get rid of that. 7 out of 10 is from the stream today. We were grinding some Champions TCG. Link to stream is in the description. Don't miss it. Go follow on Twitch. But yeah, this was a mint. I forget. No, I don't forget. It's right here. It was a free mint. I've heard some stories. I didn't even know about this game back then, so whatever. There's so many games. I missed it. That's fine. But I've heard from people who they either saw the free mint or they saw these priority passes when it was like 0.1, 0.2, like a tenth of an ETH, a fifth of an ETH. Well, right now the floor price is 2.45, about 2.5 ETH. That's $8,000, $9,000, close to $10,000 for a free mint. So that is always something that gets people excited. So now that it's confirmed that the play to earn phase of Seraph is coming soon, there's been lots of limited play tests, and I finally got to play over this weekend, yesterday and today, which is why I'm making this video. Everyone knows the play to earn is happening pretty soon. Everyone knows that access to these early play tests have been very limited. And so people are getting pretty hyped for that reason, because let me tell you, I played the game and Seraph is no joke. It has a ton of content. It has a lot going on. And when you see how potentially solid the gameplay is, I think it's good. It's not a total, knock it out of the park S tier. It's definitely a somewhat mixed review, but it's mostly good. And people who are playing it are seeing how it's reasonably good and seeing how much content is in this game and how it really does seem to nail the basic Diablo formula pretty well, with a lot of features and a lot of stuff, including you can raid with your friends, and it's, again, tons of quests and content. I finished Act 1, and it took me about 4 or 5 hours, and I don't know if all the acts are in the game yet, but there's 10 acts listed in the quest tracker, so I finished potentially 1/10 of the full game's main quest content. That's not even doing all the side quests, so it would have taken me probably at least a couple more hours to try to do some of those side quests in the Act 1, Chapter 1. So you put all that together, people are very excited. I will say, at first I wasn't sure. When I started playing Seraph yesterday at the end of a long stream, it was 6.5 hours into stream. I got access unexpectedly. I didn't even know there was a playtest this weekend, honestly, so I wasn't even ready for it. I played for an hour and maybe hour and a half, hour 15. I was tired, and I wasn't really sure what I felt. I was maybe this is just a worse Diablo. Maybe I don't want to play an ARPG. Maybe, I don't know. But this morning, I decided to start with Seraph again, skipped my usual morning Gods Unchained Mauled Fest, went right into Seraph. I wanted to be fresh, right off my cup of coffee, right off my morning yoga, really get a good taste for the game when I'm not like tired at the end of a long stream, like 4 on-chain TCGs deep, you know what I mean? And I have to say, this morning, having played it in a better mindset, I'm actually starting to get really excited. The game looks good. The combat is a little bit janky. It's not quite as responsive as I'd like. It feels like things occasionally are lagging a little bit at times. But overall, the combat system seems like it's got enough going on to be fun. You've got a variety of stat trees to fill out a bunch of different builds you can do. And as my character started getting stronger, as I got my first few good pieces of loot, and as I really started to feel like I was able to kill some of those mobs a little faster and be a little stronger, I started to feel that, you know, acquisition and progress, like getting more gear, getting more levels, powering up. I was starting to feel the dopamine, you know what I mean? I was starting to have a lot of fun. Comparing this to the old classic Lost Relics, Lost Relics was so good for a while, but it eventually died. It couldn't, I mean, it's technically still around, but it's lost all of its momentum because there was not enough content. You had these levels you could grind, but you had no quest lines, you had no stat trees, you had very few ways to really upgrade your character, and very little in terms of lore or story, or even just quest after quest after quest and new areas of the map to explore. Like, at the end of the day, the game fossilized very early on, and with Lost Relics, which is the one I had the most experience with before Seraph, people were really hoping that was going to be the beginning of something great, the beginning, but it ended up just being the end of something disappointing. Instead of being the beginning of something great, it was the end of something disappointing because the initial state of the game ended up being the way it was the whole time. It just never really progressed. I mean, improvements in graphics, improvements in, like, you can play with a controller now, and, you know, new gear, okay, but, like, just never really added any meaningful new content. It was really just, like, this weird thing where the game started out so strong and then it just froze in place and never progressed. Seraph is starting kind of where we had hoped Lost Relics would end up, which is a game with a huge map, with tons of areas, a fully featured, fully fleshed out story, tons of characters, quests, side quests, gear, and stuff to just build your character over time, stat trees, grouping up with your friends, doing group raids, the whole 9 yards. Seraph really seems to have it all, so I'm very excited about this one. I definitely think you guys should pay attention to this, and I will now go to some stream clips. I'm going to show you guys the boss fight at the end of Act 1. I'll show you a little bit of that, and then I'll show you at the end of the stream, after I was done playing Seraph, when I was talking about my thoughts, to give you a little more context. So let's jump to that. Avoid that big attack. Yeah, there you go. Fight the tentacles. They die pretty quick. Okay, it was sketchy for a minute, but I guess we're fine. Tentacles, my favorite. Yeah. Yes, everyone loves a good tentacle boss. That's what it's all about. This game's gonna go far. Alright, this boss is kind of stressful because it definitely has what it takes to kill me. But as long as I don't do that, I'm great. Listen, whatever I gotta do to finish this, I will lose some experience. We just need to finish Chapter 1. Or Act 1. Yeah, that one attack does some damage. Nothing else seems to matter. My best attack seems to be the only thing. Get off of the red circles, I guess, of death. But it's like the whole fucking arena. Come on. They're almost dead. Come on. Spam health potions. You're almost dead. She's dead. She's dead. She's dead. Come on. Come on. We got him. We got her. The Demon King, who was the daughter, whatever it is. Defeat has happened. We did it. Oh, give Dantalian's world ring to Seraphine. So I guess we have to go back. Chop, chop, chop to talk, talk, talk. Hey, cutscene. That's a good sign. That's a good sign that we finished Act 1 and we're starting Act 2. There it is, baby. There it is. GG on Act 1 complete. Thank you. Yeah, let's hold off on the stories from Act 2. I'm assuming now, basically, if I keep playing Act 2, We still have side quests in Act 1. I just wish that it wasn't about to reset in like 12 hours because it's a 2-day playtest. Because I'm actually starting to get sucked in. I just really am starting to get into it. I want to just play the whole fucking game. Like, it looks so cool now. At first, I was super unsure. My character was kind of weak. I was kind of tired yesterday. I started at like 6 hours into stream or more. I didn't even realize I was going to get into the playtest, so I was a little tired. I wasn't sure, but today, I think this game is really fun. I mean, the obvious thing is that it's pretty close to the Diablo formula. Very close. It's definitely a Diablo-style game, but I'm not complaining. It's super fun. And I don't have that many hours in Diablo. I only played Diablo 4. I played 15 to 20 hours, I think. Maybe even a little less. Yeah, it seems like a cool game. It's got all the stuff that I remember from Diablo. I'm not a super knowledgeable person on Diablo, but from what I remember from my 20 hours, it's pretty much got all the stuff I'm used to. The story seems reasonably good. The voice acting is good. It's just got everything. It's got so much content. Like, I finished the main quest of Act 1, and there's still side quests, and I feel like this is a game I would love to put 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 100 hours in over time. These kinds of games, especially with the on-chain aspect, people trying to grind NFTs, play to earn, it does turn into a very 12 hours a day, insane, more than 12 a day sometimes, crazy grind during like the crazy times. I'm not really looking for that in my life right now. I'm building the Flux business. We got a lot going on with multiple sponsors, different games that I really enjoy and I want to work with. So for me, I definitely feel like, a few hours a day, 2 or 3, 4, 5 at most. I'm not trying to do 10, 12 hours. I'm on a different wavelength. But in terms of like a fun game that I could definitely play a lot of, this is definitely it. I mean, Seraph seems awesome. I'm pretty convinced this game is cool. And I hope I get into the next playtest. Yeah, apparently how much you play this time has some impact on if you get invited back. It looks like I'm level 14, actually. It's in the top left. My camera's covering it. Yeah, apparently that has a lot to do with it. I just wish it wasn't going to reset so soon,